Welcome back to the Disciplined Degens show. It is now NFL Week 2. Unbelievable roller coaster of a ride in Week 1. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss a single episode. Remember, guys, we are on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. No excuse not to watch or listen to the show. Listen at work while you're driving. Watch at home or maybe at work if you're able to. The Matty Bets Spotify, Apple, and YouTube channel. And if you're on Spotify or YouTube, you can use the chapters at the bottom of the screen and scroll to all the different games that you want to hear us talk about. So, last but not least, this show is presented by BetOakley.com. Guys, we have seen some shady shit going on with the sports books this week. Sports books taking bets that were minus 135 that already won and moving them to minus 5,000. If you don't want to have to deal with that shenanigans, we won't name names here on the show, but if you don't want to have to deal with those shenanigans, make sure you go over to betoakley.com. There is a link in the description. We're not going to give you some crazy deposit bonus. We're going to give you better lines and odds for the rest of your lives. Don't fall for the bait. Use sportsbooks too, but you have to have betoakley.com. It's something you have to put in your betting arsenal. You're always going to get better lines and odds. I'll hand it off to Gino. I know he's probably burning with something to say right now.
The books won't let you beat them, my dudes. Maddie uses books perfectly. Use books for high upside. Use books for that rush, that lottery ticket. It's the best way. Yes, they have an edge on you, but you have the edge on entertainment. But for straight bets, head-to-head stuff, you're crazy. That's why Maddie won't even do it. Maddie's heart don't even beat unless it's 10x.
Bro, speaking of long shots, I just want to say to everyone out there, I'm done betting for the rest of the NFL season. I will never have a better long shot week in my entire life than this past weekend. I hit the $52,000 parlay. That was a 52-1 long shot. And then last night on the Monday Night Football game, when I thought I was dead in the water, I was about to go 1-4 on my betting card, right? Because the Jets defense just ruined the whole game, right? I know Gino probably loved that as a Niners fan, but that defense ruined the whole game because when you literally the third quarter starts, you look down at the clock and it's like 8-9 minutes has passed and the Niners go on this drive. Like this is what the 49ers do. They without Christian McCaffrey, they just out physical you. They run the ball down your throat. And Purdy's looking great in the pocket. The protection's great, but even when the pass rush gets there, he makes the perfect play at the right time. They looked very, very good last night. Not to jump ahead here, but I guess what I'm getting at here is I was dead in the water. I had Alan Lazard 2 touchdowns.
Where did you
he
get
hit
that
the first
play?
one, bro? What was it? 40 seconds left. Game was over in garbage time. Rodgers on the sideline. So everyone keeps asking me, like, where did you bet it? Because I'm in Florida, right? Hard Rock didn't even have it.
Yeah.
Hard Rock had Lazard anytime touchdown at plus 525. I had to get that in off a FanDuel screenshot through a local bookie. I put 125 to win 10K on it, and I smacked it at the end of the night. So
sicko.
It was electric. I will say I probably would have had $500 on that if I had it like in Hard Rock or somewhere, and it would have paid for 40 grand. But a win's a win. I was happy. We hit the 52-1, the 80-1, and I just couldn't believe it. So it was a hell of a weekend on long shots for me. I didn't have the greatest Sunday day card, but the long shots from like all the primetime games carried me. So how did your Discipline the Gens picks do? I know you crushed.
We smacked. I had a bad night last night, but we won 17 units. 18 units last week, 17 this week. Guys, I bet a half a unit to 1.5 units max. So that Peasant of the week.
Gino's on the heater of a lifetime through all sports. Like this has been going on for weeks. He's been printing money on all sports.
And the worst part about it, this Peasant of the week cost me. That was my biggest swing of the week. That was our biggest bet of the week. Was Tennessee plus 4.5.
Let's dive into the Peasant of the week. My favorite segment of the show. Peasant is my new favorite word, guys. I'm sure if you guys follow me on social media, you've come to that conclusion already that peasant is my favorite word in the English language. But Peasant of the week.
Second favorite word. Your favorite word's bet.
First?
Bet. Bet.
Maybe. Peasant of the week, Will Levis, bro. What are you doing, bro? 2 interceptions, terrible offensive game plan. Allow the Bears to come back. The Bears were the first team to win with less than 150 offensive yards since 2020. The sharp play was clearly the Titans in this game. They were leading the whole game. They were a 4-point dog, which they shouldn't have been that big of a dog. But the Peasant of the week, Will Levis, blew it and allowed the Squares and the Bears to win and cover the spread. What did you think about this game, bro?
You said it best, brother. The Titans didn't need Will Levis to play great to win this game. Dude, you and I called, of all the games with you guys, we call every game. So there's going to be a lot of shit we say wrong, but there's going to be some shit we say right. This was a game that we read perfectly. Caleb, bro, rookie of the year, Caleb, nah. That dude has some work to do. He has talent.
Yeah.
Still early. He can develop, but dude's way behind Jaden and them. Jaden and Bo looked way better. That's 1. 2, Titans defense. We said, Titans lost their running back, so everyone's low on them, but they shouldn't be getting 4.5. This is a bet that I'll lose 2-3 units on forever. We had a 90-something. Actually, it was 66-1-1 when a team plus 4.5 is up 17. This was the last one of that. So we had every chance to win
Tony
this game.
Pollard balled out, bro. 5.1 yards per carry, 16 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. He had a 26-yard run. Calvin Ridley had a pretty solid game. He had 50 yards receiving. I mean, and then you look at the Bears' rushing attack. They only had 84 total yards on the ground. I mean, this was literally the Titans' game, and they threw it away due to Will Levis. So that's a bad loss for them. I think we'll be taking a look at, potentially fading the Bears this season. I mean, I don't know how they want to cover that game. Caleb Williams, 93 yards through the air, and they just didn't look great. So,
and his numbers got better later. His numbers were even worse when it mattered. He put them in a hole.
Keenan Allen did have that one drop. I think, early.
He deserves the touchdown.
He's right there.
He gets credit there.
Yeah, he won't have another drop like that all season. He's usually so reliable in those spots. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the next segment of the show. I want to get Gino's opinion. The first one, so this is our buy or sell segment. The first one is going to be very important to me. All right, are you buying or are you selling, Gino?
I'm buying this hard,
brother. Saquon Barkley is the offensive player of the year, and I should be celebrating my 30-1 ticket, even though it's only week 1.
So aside from you getting the 3 touchdowns, which is the perfect first game, CMC missing.
And over 100 yards.
And over 100 yards. So you had the perfect week 1. Honestly, CMC was the second highest or third highest, whatever. That's
what could have made it even perfecter is if they never let Tyreek Hill, put him in jail.
They arrested Tyreek. So I will say, if you look at it now in hindsight, so Maddie texted me this mid-season. I replied CMC 2.0. I said on the show last week.
Deja vu, bro.
This is the perfect situation. And aside from the 3 touchdowns, aside from the 100 yards, aside from CMC missing, if you saw, the tush push didn't work a couple times. That's actually a good thing for Saquon. You had no Jason Kelce. So you want Saquon just taking that normal handoff. He'll get you that yard. He'll get you it. I think Maddie
and Jalen both are like, I think he might be stronger at squatting than Jalen, and that's pretty crazy.
That's another thing. The love in the locker room. These 2 dudes are physical specimens having fun, competing with each other. They're only going to get stronger all year. Yeah. I think this ticket wins. Don't cash out a nickel. I don't care when Circa wins.
So I tweeted Circa. Of course, Jeffrey Benson hit me back and said 0 is what they would offer.
He's lying.
So right now the ticket is Saquon and Tyreek are both plus 750. So they're the front runners to win it. I got it at 30-1. So that's a huge jump from week 1 to week 2. But at the same time, I like to have fun with this. I know that it's a long season and they still have a long ways to go. One injury, it could be dead. And then if Tyreek Hill has a 3-4 TD game, he's going to be the clear favorite, because it's Tyreek Hill. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I feel good about it.
You got Waddle competing with him, and honestly, that's true. The math on that is you gain plus 400 in value. That's a freaking perfect week 1.
100%. All right, let's move on to the next part. Are you buying or selling the 49ers? Your 49ers and my Eagles are the top 2 teams in the NFC. Buy or sell?
Buying hard. I hate to win by default. Green Bay, that injury is going to hurt them. They're going to fall down these first couple weeks. It might be hard to
What
come
about
back.
The Cowboys? They look good.
I tweeted out that the Cowboys are underrated on defense and offense. That's a scary thing to say. They do this every year, though. Right. It is Cleveland. I'll put an asterisk next to it. I left that game thinking very high of the Cowboys, but also thinking equally as low as Cleveland. They had a terrible game plan. Deshaun's, he don't have it anymore. That was probably the worst pickup in the aside from his record and what he brought in the contract. That guy should have signed for nothing. I can't believe he took advantage. Good for him.
Next
I'm
up,
buying.
The Bengals will actually struggle this season because they're just a physically weak team. They're all about just being a finesse team. No power at the line of scrimmage. Jamar Chase having issues there. What do you think, buy or sell?
Dude, there were a couple times where they had the ball down 6, a chance to steal the game back at home. And like you said, they just got dominated at the line. They're a weak team. You win games with physicality. The Niners and the Eagles showed winning with physicality. The Cowboys showed it. Detroit's overtime showed physicality. Dude, I just named 3 or 4 teams and how you win with power. I'm selling these Bengals hard. I'm not going to say they won't have a winning record. I'm not going to say like fade them every week, but they're not a Super Bowl contender. I'm saying that right now all year. They're not a Super Bowl. I never had them.
No, they have stumbled in early in seasons though, and they always make this run. So it's hard to count them out, but I do agree that I think it's just something different. Something feels different about them a little bit this year. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Also,
last but not least, the Panthers will have the worst record in the NFL, buying or selling.
I'll sell that one. I did too many buying. I think
who's going to be worse though is the question.
Yeah, New Orleans had a really good game. Let's give New Orleans credit where it's due. Who will be
New England
worse?
Won.
Yeah, no, I could still see
New England was supposed to be. So remember, everyone, every sharp motherfucker on the planet was like hammer under 3.5 wins for New England. They come out as an 8 or 9 point dog and win outright in week 1. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm buying. I'm so glad, bro. I looked Brad in the eye the other day. I was like, dude, the Panthers are a sharp spot already in week 1, and I ain't fucking touching them.
Same.
I fell for that trap so many times last year, and they get fucking slaughtered. They're just not a good team. Their quarterback sucks. I will not touch them all season. I don't care if they're getting 22 points. I'm not touching them.
I respect it.
I refuse. So they'll throw 3 pick sixes.
The Panthers were sharp. I think they'll be sharp again this week. But like you said, that's one that I left off our official card. Even though all signs pointed to the Panthers, dude, they got work.
And dude, you remember our blowout system from last year on the Discipline the Gen show. We take teams that get blown out the following week.
I know.
They lost 47-10 to the Saints. Let's take a look. Week 2, they are... Let's see. They are hosting the Chargers. And they are a 6.5 point home dog.
I think I'm going to have Chargers in Survivor. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not willing to touch them, bro. I'm really not. So we'll see how it plays out. But let's move on to the final segment of the show here.
Sharp or square?
All right. Sharp or square. This is my second favorite segment here. All right. Up first, the Bills +2 at Miami. Sharp or square?
I'm going square. The Bills could not stop the run. Miami has 2 good running backs. They are both questionable right now. We can make a joke about CMC being questionable, what that means. But I like Miami in this game. I'll get into all that later, but I have Bills as a square side.
Yeah. I'm going to say...
I think you're the right pick in that Bills-Cardinals game. I know it lost, but I still feel you had the right pick.
Yeah, that was crazy, bro. Well, they covered, right? Or they just didn't win?
I think they lost by 9.
Oh, that's right. They got fucked, dude.
It's like
no, Tennessee. They lost by 6. They covered the 6.5.
Oh, they covered? Okay.
Yeah.
I was maybe
my money line pick got screwed though.
Fair enough.
The 6.5 came in clutch. This is a tough one for me. I think we're going to see equal action on this game. I'm going to say it's not really sharp or square. It looks like 55% of the tickets are on Miami right now. As far as an early lead for me, I like Miami all day in this spot. Without a doubt, I think this is their game to win here. I like your point about the running game, and the Bills didn't look that great there defending it. So I think Miami can do it. Plus, it's kind of like a buy low spot on Miami. They didn't cover the spread. They trailed early. They didn't look great. They could kind of explode here, I think, in a week 2 spot. Yeah, they definitely could have lost.
That fumble by ATN, that was the game. I feel bad because he's a good kid.
Yeah, 100%.
That fumble, huge.
All right, up next. This is an important one. Dallas -6.5 hosting the Saints, sharp or square?
So Dallas is actually the sharp play here. It opened up at 5.5 or 6 and immediately jumped to 6.5 to 7, depending where you look. And still, I think I'm going to buy the Saints here. I don't like that I'm buying the Saints high off kicking a terrible Panthers ass, but it's also off Dallas being high. So I think I'm going to end up taking the 6.5, and this will be one of my few plays where I purposely go against the sharps. A lot of sharps are on Dallas.
Yeah, the Saints, I mean, put up 47 points and they make them a fucking 6.5 point dog the next week. Like,
it's disrespectful.
That's pretty insane, right? But this could almost be a sell spot on New Orleans at the same time. Like, this could be a sneaky under. It's like, oh, a team just scored 47 and now the next week their over-under is 45.5 for the whole game, bro.
So I got to give credit where it's due, Maddie. You're sharp, bro. Yeah. That's my top play on this game is the under. I think both defenses.
And 72% of the tickets are on the over. I bet you that number's going to hit 46, and then it's a exactly. Lock that under in. That's what I'm looking at.
That's my favorite.
All right, last but not least, Eagles -6.5 hosting the Falcons, sharp or square?
I like the Eagles here. I think the Eagles showed a lot of grit. They were down in that game early, just like my Niners were down early. They overcame a lot. Their team seemed to get stronger as the game went on. Remember, there's a lot of new pieces there. There's a secondary new there. And I was just very underimpressed. Now, it's not a system. I know everything's a system now. But if you look closely at the injured quarterbacks that returned, they're 0-3. This is one of them. I have no reason to buy into these quarterbacks. I have no reason to buy into Rodgers. Rodgers didn't even play that bad, by the way. He's getting a little too much shit. But I'm not over-buying into stars from 2 years ago. Injured stars.
Yeah.
The quarterback's a very tough position.
The interception wasn't even really that much of his fault. And then you can never get in the rhythm when you're sitting on the sideline because your defense can't get off the field.
We had long, consistent drives. Dude, we played good. I like the Eagles here. This will Saints are a square side. It's not really, the Saints aren't square though because the public won't be on the Saints. So sharps are on Dallas.
The Falcons?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was talking about the last play. So I'm saying this might be my squarest play. I can see money pouring in on the Falcons, sharp money, but I'll go with the Eagles.
Well, it's kind of like last week. I thought the Eagles were the trap of the week. I thought they were about to run the clock out up 2, and I was like, this makes so much sense. They were -2.5, -3 everywhere, and then they kicked that field goal to end the game, win by 5. I was like, we did not deserve the cover in that game. So I'm gonna say it's a square side play here on the Eagles this week. I think the Falcons are good. I think they're gonna battle in this game, and I think Eagles win by 4 is my prediction.
Yeah, I think people are criticizing the Falcons too much. They have a quarterback just came back in a new system. Dude, let's just talk about instead how goddamn good Pittsburgh played. TJ Watt he's an MVP. Like he affects his side of the ball as much as a quarterback affects an offense. It's sick how good that kid is. You should see him. Yeah. His timing on the snaps. It's like I couldn't believe it. It's a fun game to watch. Fun game to watch.
Let's move on. I want to go right into Gino's survivor picks of the week. So tell us kind of where you're leaning here going into week 2. First of all, give us a recap on the teams you liked last week and what happened, and then tell us what you like for week 2.
Yeah. So I have 3 Circa survivors. I had 1 on Cincy. Technically, 40% of the people were knocked out, so I'm up a little because I lost 33% of my plays. But I didn't see that coming. But I only put 1 on them. Everyone laughed at me. My play that got the most mockery on social media was Vikings. Come on,
I love that play.
Come on, that was on my card.
People just make fun of it because they were only a 1 or 2 point favorite, but it was a whatever.
I don't think Minnesota's gonna be great. They got a tough week versus us. They might have looked bad. I think they won that game. They came out cold and still won it. They grinded. So, and then my other pick was, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank here? Seattle. I want Seattle off my card. I don't think they're gonna have a good year, but they looked good. They ran the ball. Kenneth Walker looked damn good.
And what are you looking at in week? What spots are you looking at in week 2? So you have 2 survivor leagues left or 3?
I still have 2. Yeah, it's all in the same circuit. It's a $12 million pot.
Well, two buy-ins left. So what are you looking at here? So give us 2.
Yeah, I want to say that the Chargers are super high on my list. The reason I say the Chargers at 6.5 is better than Dallas at 6.5 is you're versus Carolina, and you want to save Dallas. You want to save your better team. So I like people are going to like Dallas this week. They're going to be a heavy picked game. I'm cheering for New Orleans.
Yeah.
Chargers are one I highly support. I actually like the Colts. I was very unimpressed with the quarterback play of the Colts. He's like a really good, bad quarterback. Does that make any sense?
Bro, that fucking dime he dropped in off his back foot, the 60-yarder was elite.
He's a cannon. And he makes terrible plays. He can run.
I forget what, I don't know. I can't remember. Was it the head coach or the OC or someone? He went on a show and he's like, Richardson's probably the slowest black quarterback in the league, but he can throw a fucking a bomb. I was like, damn, how do you go on TV and say that about your guy? It was just crazy. Man. But he threw a fucking bomb down the field, bro.
So I like the Colts. It's against an injured Green Bay. That's one that I would have never, ever picked in 100 years. I think Green Bay could implode in that game. I'm going to have the Colts probably as a bet. Diving down lower to other ones that I like and don't like. Houston minus 6.5. They'll probably be my second play. I'll probably have Chargers as my first play, Houston as my second. If I want to gamble, I'll replace Houston with Indy. Those are my favorite plays. The reason is Minnesota coming off a really good win at home. My Niners going there. You don't take the Niners there. You save them for a bigger mismatch.
Yeah. I like Detroit, your two. I like the Houston and what was the first one you
Chargers?
said? Houston and Chargers. I mean, I'll take anyone against the Panthers.
Yeah.
I think Houston makes the most sense because Chicago won the game, but they looked so bad offensively that you feel very safe with Houston at home there.
Exactly. Houston should work them.
Yeah. Plus, Houston didn't cover last week,
Yeah, 100%.
It's a good bounce back spot for them to cover and win here. So
and the other
I like
big
that.
Spreads,
good.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just telling you guys which ones to stay away from. You want to save Philly. They're a really good team, but Monday Night Football versus Atlanta on a loss, it's not worth it. Detroit versus Tampa Bay, 2 playoff teams, it's not worth it. I think Detroit, I'll get into this, probably one of the sharpest plays of the week when it opened at 5.5. It's already at 7, but it's not worth it. Save them for when they're up, when they're 11-point favorite.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So I hope this helps.
All right, let's move on to. Do you want to? Are you in the Circa Million?
Yeah, I went 3 for 5. Yeah.
So let's start.
I can end at the end.
Let's start with the Bills versus the
end,
Dolphins here. So this is the Thursday night football game. So guys, remember when we record this show, we're recording on a Tuesday. It's premiering on a Wednesday. So just remember when you're looking at these games, the lines could have moved substantially. But as of right now, on Bet Openly, the Bills are a 1.5-point dog, plus 115 on the money line, over under 48. Looks like that total's starting to climb up a little bit already. I've seen it as high as 49. What are you leaning on here?
Dolphins. Minus 115 is a steal. It really is. And I actually, guys, don't forget, I want to, pat my back sometimes and critique myself other times. I said when Diggs moved, I said, this might be the year we see Josh Allen as an MVP candidate. Dude looked insane. I know his hand's a little injured. It's another reason I like the Dolphins in this. But I think Allen's going to have a year. He's going to carry so much extra weight. He might get banged up. So Dolphins, and I love the over. I know it's square. That's a squarest play of the game is going to be the over, but I think I can't get away from it.
Yeah, I think this is the year. I think this is really the Dolphins' year, right? Because I think you're going to see the Bills losing those 2 weapons they did in the offseason. This is the type of matchup you don't want to have. You don't want to show up to this type of fight without some weapons in your back pocket. And the Dolphins have so many weapons here. I just think this is a perfect spot for the Dolphins here. I hate that the spread's, 1.5, 2. I think if it was 3, everyone would be on Buffalo. Yeah. But no, I like Miami money line here. Like if I'm betting this on Bet Openly, I'm taking the minus 115 all day here. We're at home. The Dolphins didn't perform particularly well last week, but they show that they can win those types of close games even when they're not playing well. It was a weird game with Tyreek Hill, and all the shenanigans that happened before the game. I think they come back in focused in week 2, and I think that they could I think I could see them beating the Bills by double digits here, or maybe Josh Allen bringing it back to single digits in like garbage time. But I think they're going to have a comfortable lead going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Dolphins have a better defense than the Bills, flat out. better rush defense. So
Yeah.
A question for you.
Yeah.
We don't get too political on the show, but
I saw like a couple different
video?
angles of it. I think that there's equal arguments, for both sides. I think the one argument is like
fucking answer.
legally
Seriously.
the cops shouldn't have done what they should have done regardless of attitude and different things. And I think the other argument is just be a nice person and respectful and, put the window down. And I do understand both sides of it, especially if like your windows are completely tinted out and the cop feels threatened. They don't know what's going on. I understand that side of it. And I also understand the side of it of like, those are my rights to do whatever and like go write me my ticket and be done. So it's just tough because you don't really know what it's so hard to know. You can see the body cam and all this footage, but like unless you were there, it's so hard to understand the full context of it.
Yeah, dude, really good answer, Maddie. And I want to add to it a little bit. I'm not on the side of the police here. That dude was overzealous. But bro, you're Tyreek. If you talk to me like that, again, not me. He's bigger than me and he's in better shape than me and younger than me. But if we're equals, you talk to someone how Tyreek was talking to him in a bar, you're getting punched. So dude was looking for a conflict and he found the person to get the conflict. Now again, not justifying the police's action. It's just you kind of get what you pay for in this world. And dude was asking for shit. And he was like, can we speed this up? I got to go. Like, dude, they ain't going to cater to you.
Did he?
Dog.
I don't think he once even said
stupid,
like, oh, I have a game.
I think it was,
or like, I don't know. Yeah, like
I think
it's
he said
like,
I'm late for some shit. Like
that
hurry
part
up.
was confusing to me.
He's right at the stadium. He like assumed. I think one of them said early.
See, I don't know.
This is Tyreek Hill. I think that was said early.
I don't know the full context.
He said,
I don't want
I'm
to
late.
comment too much on it because I just don't know.
No, it's all good.
But
your answer was perfect. Too many people are opinionated on both sides. It's a right down the middle.
Let's move on to the Sunday day slate here.
All good.
First up, we have the Chargers. Oh wait, hold on. No, we don't. First up, we have the Raiders at Ravens. So the Raiders are a 9-point dog on Bet Openly, 3-1 on the money line here, over under 41. I've seen it's 4-1.
It's actually 4-1.
Yeah,
it's
you're
a
right.
typo. They're
plus 400.
Yeah, Baltimore's
on Bet
minus
Openly,
400. Raiders are plus
4-1 odds. The Ravens a minus 400 favorite. The over under at 41. I believe has it climbed a little bit here. Let's take a look. Oh, dropped. Okay, yeah. It dropped a little bit. So what are you leaning on here? Yeah.
Dude, the Raiders have a decent defense. Everyone, we talk about Devonta Adams and stuff, but they have a decent defense. Minshew looked okay. I mean, mind you, the Chargers worked them, but this is a game where the only way I'm betting this, is Raiders money line. It's the only way. You give me 4-1 odds, and maybe I put it in a 2-teamer and have some fun. I don't even like the under, even though I think the Raiders can actually do decent against Baltimore on the under. I just 4-1 on the Raiders for fun. Otherwise, I don't like Baltimore 4-1. I think they win. I'm just not wasting them. And you hate having the under 41 versus that Baltimore offense. They might score 30 on the Raiders. They might score 28 on the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean,
so
the Ravens last week, I mean, Henry, what was interesting is their coach said, like, we didn't bring Henry in to, like, feed him 30, 40 times a game, like, which I agree with that philosophy. It's week one. You're going to be a good team. You're probably going to make the playoffs. He's getting up there in age. Like, you want him fresh for the postseason. He has so many other weapons. So I like the philosophy. I thought all in all, the Ravens looked good against Kansas City. They made some mistakes. Lamar missed some throws late in that fourth quarter. That, you can say what you want about the toe touch at the end. That could have been a touchdown. He was clearly out of bounds. It was very close. It's a game of inches. But the reality of it is Lamar has to know that he has to make those 1 or 2 plays before that play, and it doesn't even matter. And then Harbaugh's going for 2 there at the end if they scored, which is, I think, the right move. It pissed me off because it screwed I needed OT for some bet or something. Yeah. But I was like, dude, as soon as I saw Harbaugh was going for 2, I was rooting for that touchdown to get overturned so they would fucking lose. I was like, if you guys aren't going to give me a chance to win, I hope you lose.
Oh, you sicko.
But no, I liked what I saw. I liked what I saw from the Ravens, bro.
Guy.
I hate taking them as huge favorites, though, so it does scare me a little bit here. I like that this total has come down a little bit. I would maybe look to just play this over and kind of buy it here at a low spot. Even if sharp money has driven it down, the question is how many sharps would take this at 40.5 or 41. I just think 27-14. Even that is right there, and I just I'd like to think. Yeah.
My only question is, can the Baltimore defense, which looked good at times, hold the Raiders to near nothing? Can they frustrate the Raiders? Because their defense is substantially better than the Chargers.
Agree. This could very well be like a Ravens under parlay type of game where it's like 27 to like 7 or something.
Just smacking.
So this is a tough game. This is a game I'll probably stay away from.
That's my only fear here.
We'll see what happens. So let's move on to the next one. Good.
And Survivor, this will be the number one pick in Survivor. Sure. I try to avoid.
All right, here we go. Up next, we got the Chargers versus the worst team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers. We'll see if they actually end up being the worst team. But Panthers are a minus. No, this is actually reversed as well. Panthers are a plus 275 underdog to the Chargers, a minus 275 favorite. The over-under is 6. I'm sorry, the spread is 6.5, and the over-under at 38.5. What do you lean on here?
Oh, man. So I'm hearing grumblings that the Panthers is a sharp play, but dude, like you said, they should be on the do not bet list. I like the Chargers in fantasy, so that means, guys, I like them in money line parlays. I think their defense is better than New Orleans made them look, and I think the Chargers defense is good. My favorite bet on this game is under 38.5. I'll be on the Chargers in one of my fantasy or survivors, but my favorite play is going to be under 38.5. Just a nice little 2017 game.
Yeah.
Maybe
38.5 is maybe crazy.
23-10.
You know what? It's the tough thing about unders in the Panthers games is they throw these pick sixes or they turn the ball over and they give the offense easy points. Like that's the hard part about taking the under in these Panthers game. I'll tell you what.
Can you believe they took their quarterback over Houston's quarterback?
It's definitely up there with.
How?
Yeah.
The size, just the size of NFL size alone, it's crazy what they did.
I'm not going to be betting the Panthers, but I think the Panthers are the right side here at plus 6.5 at home. You get a home dog at almost 7 points. I completely agree. It's just crazy. And think about it. You're getting that home dog at almost 7 points in a game where the over-under is only 38.5. Like those 6.5 points are so valuable. But again, I'm not touching it. I refuse to bet the Panthers this season. That was the only thing I said going into the season is I'm not betting on the Panthers. There's not a single team that costed me more money last year than the Carolina Panthers. So,
and this is not a Wong teaser, but putting the Panthers in your teasers is actually pretty solid. You cross over the 7 and 10 threshold. Two key numbers. The more key numbers are 3 and 4, but 7 and 10 are the third and fourth strongest numbers. So you cross over two of them. Either, it's pretty strong.
Just won't be doing it. All right, let's move on. This game makes me sick. I don't even want to look at it. All right, here's a good one. This is a very, very interesting spot, right? New Orleans Saints scored, 47 points last week? And they're now traveling to Dallas, and they're a plus 275 underdog. In Jerry World, spread 6.5, over under 45.5. What are you leaning on here?
Before we do that, bro, you see the contract Dak got?
It's very rich. He is good, but it is very rich.
2 playoff wins? 2? He is good, but now the team's broke to do anything. Him and CD, it's not a flag football team. Yeah. They don't have money for anything else.
I heard all the Cowboys players were giving Dak their wrist measurements for a watch. I saw Micah was playing with him on Twitter too.
Oh,
hey, Micah Parsons needs to get paid some big bucks too.
Savage.
That dude's a monster, bro. Mark my words. I want to save this clip for it might be 3 years from now, might be 5, might be 7. Micah Parsons, maybe by the end of his career, will be a Philadelphia Eagle. How much you want to bet? It will happen. He loves the Eagles, dude. I'm telling you, deep down, he's an Eagle. What? Mark my words. Mark my words. It might be at the end of his career, but he's going to be an Eagle eventually. I'm telling you.
Deep. I want an image of Maddie smiling, and it says Micah Parsons. Deep down, he's an Eagle. That needs to happen.
Look at this,
Deep
bro.
down,
This
he's
was
an
a year
Eagle.
ago.
Good for you.
Micah Parsons wishes he could play for the Eagles.
I'm gonna be-
I just Googled it.
No shit.
I didn't want to go. I'm reading a quote. He said, Philly fans are like talking to me. You should come to Philly. I'm like, bro, I don't know. It's this big long ass quote, but it's something. It's
an
just
opinion
something that
article
I
of some drunk in
feel
a Philly bar.
my intuition is telling me. It might be again. It could be the last 3 years of his career. It might, but I just feel like it's going to happen eventually.
You're sick. I love it. What do I like in this game? I like the under a little bit. It's high. I think both teams are confident on offense. But I like the under. That would be my favorite play. But I also think Saints plus 6.5 is too much for this team. They've always had a good defense, and if Carr and them are just even semi decent, and you're selling Dallas high. I would say Dallas is higher in many people's books than New Orleans. Most people are saying Carolina, how bad they are. So again, these are two highs. You want to buy low and sell high. We don't remember Maddie, we got to add that segment. Which games are buy low, sell high? Who covered last week for someone that didn't? We did good on that last year. So under favorite.
I like it. I'm under here all day. I probably won't touch this spread. I'm hoping I can get I'm hoping I get 46 or higher, but the Saints held their opposition to 10 points last week, and then the Cowboys, defense is just super good. I think this is going to be a lot more. Yeah, and I think everyone's going to look at the Saints scoring 47 and just blindly take the over here. So I'm going to trust that we're going to see more of like a 24-17 type of game here, maybe 24-20 where it goes under. So that's where I'll probably be. That's where I'll probably be betting on my full card. But let's move on to the next one here. Tampa Bay traveling to Detroit. Plus 300 on the money line for the Bucks here. Minus 300 for the money line on bet openly for the Detroit Lions. The spread opened, like Gino said, around 5.5. It is now up to 7. So if you didn't get your money in early on the Lions, it's now 7 points as a home favorite. Over under 51.5. What do you like here?
Detroit was one of the sharpest plays of the week, guys. When I say that, what do I mean? I mean they hung a soft line and money came in pounding early. So the books adjusted the Detroit line the quickest everywhere. We call it steam. They moved a line everywhere. So we already know that Detroit under 7 is sharp, and it got hammered. Tampa Bay played good. They lost some people on defense, so they're gonna have some trouble with this Detroit team. So I still like it at 7, right? Those if the truest sharp people in the world want to win their bets, they have that edge. So I don't move to the Bucks at plus 7. So take that or leave that. I also like the over here. I wasn't overly impressed with what Detroit did on defense to the Rams, who were missing Nakua most of the game. So I think some points will come up in this game. I lean Detroit to win, and I lean Detroit to cover. So over in Detroit, but Detroit's my favorite play here at minus 7.
Based on what I saw from Detroit, like mistakes were made. Like you said, they didn't look great on defense, but they're as explosive. I think they're as explosive as any team in the league. Like, I think when you just look at their roster, like, they're so good, bro. And they got that boy from Alabama now too. Like, I'm blown away. I think they're so talented. Jared Goff, I'm done selling him. Like, he's a good quarterback. I think he's probably a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
He is a good quarterback.
As that sounds. Like, he's just solid, and I just think that I think, now James, you got Williams, you got Montgomery, look at their roster, dude, from top to bottom on the offensive side of the ball. It's unbelievable. Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams now, Sam Laporta. Their offense, they're kind of just a better version of the Bucs, because the Bucs are pretty explosive and have a good offense, but I think everywhere they're just a little better. They're at home here. I think they're gonna dominate this game. The Rams game was just a team that plays them tough, whereas I think this, the Bucs are coming off a really good offensive performance in week 1, but I can see a little bit of regression here. and I think the Lions are going to beat them by double digits.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Maddie. And I want to remind you guys too, like I took Tampa Bay to win their division at plus 330. That just felt like the math was wrong. So I'm high on Tampa Bay. So Bucks have a good fan base. Don't jump down our throats when you're off your boys. People were mad at me. I didn't have the Bucks in my top 10.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything to put them in my top 10. They're still a good team, but I didn't see them as a top 10 team. So I think Detroit shows, dude, the NFC is good, man. The talent right now at the top is crazy. The talent at the top, the top four teams.
You think the Lions are better than the Cowboys?
Conference are nasty. I would take the Lions heads up versus the Cowboys. So yeah, I do have them higher in my power rankings. Yeah,
it's close, but I think Detroit has a legit chance to win the NFC this year. Like that. Yeah,
and if you go back to last year, if the Cowboys had to go into Detroit, the game would have been pretty close to a pick 'em. It would have. So these are very comparable teams if you look at like their roster and their makeup and their talent. So I just think the running back game of Detroit is so much better. Montgomery and Gibbs are both better than all three guys on Dallas. I'm surprised Dallas, again, Ezekiel got a touchdown, or Zeke, whatever, got a touchdown. So I don't think the Cowboys have enough in the run game to run with good teams.
Let's move on to the next one. We got the Colts traveling to the Packers. The Colts are, Jordan Love's out, right? So the Colts are a minus 165 favorite. Packers a plus 165 underdog. Colts minus 3.5 points on the spread, and the over-under at 40. What do you lean on here?
I lean the Colts here. I do. I like the Colts minus 3.5. I like the under in this game. It's probably one of my sharpest unders. People saw fireworks from both these teams on offense. Obviously, they lost their quarterback, so this Green Bay team is going to be very different. On offense this week, they could be very flat. And the Colts, lit up the Houston secondary with huge plays. I think they'll tighten up a little bit, control the game a little more, try and get a big win. They played a very tough Houston team. You and I said it, Maddie. The AFC South, man, these guys go at each other. It's crazy how good these games are in the AFC South. So they need a win. They consider themselves a playoff squad. They were a playoff squad last year. Their roster's very talented. Their quarterback's very talented. I'm going to go minus 3.5 and under 40.
So Malik Willis is the backup for the Packers. This dude threw the ball 5 times all of 2023. He got sacked 4 times, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And you go back to 2022, he had 31 completions out of 61 attempts. That's pretty much a 50% completion percentage. He had 0 TDs out of 61 attempts, and he had 3 interceptions. So the guy hasn't done shit in 2 seasons. Now, again, he's been pretty much a backup, and he hasn't really had the opportunity. But that's kind of concerning here against a Colts team who's pretty solid. So it kind of feels square here, but I'm going to go Colts. I think they cover the spread too. I do like the Packers coaching, though.
Let's
I
do
feel
it.
Like they can
under.
find ways,
Favorite play in this game.
Yeah.
That's a good point. This coach is good. What's funny is they're about my size, so guys that I'm talking shit know that I'm talking it with while looking in the mirror. The coach of the Dolphins, the coach of the Packers, they're like my size. They just look like little dweebs that didn't play football. So I don't know. It just kind of cracks me up.
Yeah.
Like I like the Vrabels. I like who's the coach of the Lions? They're saying does coke and does steroids. I got in a bunch of trouble because someone said this coach looks like he does coke and steroids. I said that should be celebrated, not criticized.
Yeah, Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is a monster.
Guy's all jacked up. You want to play, dude. It's like Robert Saleh. I know he had a bad game against us, but I love Saleh as our defensive coordinator in the Niners. Out there running the stairs and lifting weights with the 100%. Guys. Like that's the kind of guy I like.
Let's move on to the next one. We got the Browns versus the Jags. Browns are a plus 150 dog, plus 3.5 on the spread, Over under 40.5. What do you like here?
I think this is our first buy low, sell high playing each other. So I'm selling the Jags who covered. The Jags should have won that game. If ETN doesn't fumble, they win. And I'm buying the Browns low. So, yeah, I'm probably going to say keep the 3.5, even though Deshaun's a fucking mess. Mm-hmm. This is going to be as hard of a bet for me as it is the damn Panthers if I get stuck with the Panthers. For y'all listening, I bet line movement. I don't care about anything else. I think I'm going to get stuck with Cleveland at plus 150. I'll probably get it as high as 170 on Bet Openly if I know my users. So I'm going to take Cleveland's punk ass. Hopefully they can stop the run against the Jags and grind it out. Who's their backup? It's the guy that licks his fingers. Who's Cleveland's backup? Jameis Winston. I think there's a chance.
He's good.
I like Jameis Winston. But far from it.
He's slinging the ball. He makes mistakes for sure, but he's good. I don't know that they'll move on to him so quickly. I think you're going to see eventually you're going to see a flash of
you're right.
Deshaun used to be. I think this is the spot. I'm going to make the Browns my dog of the week here and say keep the points. This is just think about it. This is the type of game that they look really good in. Like, against a finesse team like the Jags and Trevor Lawrence, like they're going to get after him defensively. They're going to look better than they did last week. It's definitely a buy low spot on them. What is this spread? What is this spread as the look ahead line before week 1? Is probably a pick 'em.
Exactly.
It's probably a pick 'em, right?
Exactly. You nailed it. And we learn don't overreact in the NFL for 1 week. You Maddie, just fucking nailed it. This is a 2.5 point gift.
Yeah.
Because they're probably plus 1. It's a 2.5 point gift because of overreactions to week 1.
Yeah. The Browns were thought of pretty highly going into the season. Yeah. I'm going to go Browns ML here. Not going to touch the total. I think I would lean under, but I like Browns ML here as probably official play. Let's move on to the next one.
Let's do it.
All right, we got Gino's Niners going into Minnesota, minus 250 favorite. Vikings plus 250 on the money line. Vikings are a 6.5 point home dog here, over under 45.5. What are you thinking?
Bang, bang, Niner gang, guys. So I'm a blind homer. I was texting everyone last night that Niners are winning by double digits last night, and I got laughed at. Shout out to Lock Hub. He told me he would transition to a woman if the Niners won by double digits. So he is.
That's all it takes. I
told him he's not just a woman; he's a baddie.
Woman, bro. You just have to identify as one.
That's all it takes to identify. So, long story short, I'm high on my Niners. I really am. We're still hungry. Our locker room vibes are right. Our defensive coordinator is settling in. Man, Jets came down. Towner punked us on their first touchdown drive, and then we adjusted and just went lights out. Lights out. Fred Warner is only behind TJ Watt. He's, Micah Parsons obviously good too. So I should say Fred Warner is a top 3 linebacker. He's just in every play with his fists. He's in every tackle. He's what Patrick Willis used to be. I like my boys. And, Minnesota coming off a damn good win themselves, working a not good New York Giants team. Maddie, that might be, you asked who the worst team is. Maybe it is the Giants in their division.
Saquon was holding them together to be at least anything.
Exactly. I drew a blank. I wasn't thinking Patriots, but you said it, so I ran with it, and I was thinking the Giants. Do I think Minnesota finds a way to backdoor cover here? Yeah, potentially, but still, y'all listening, guys made me give up the Niners minus 7 to 9.5 last week. I'll do the same this week. Challenge me on Bet Openly. My money's good. Send me the link on Twitter. I'll fill it. I'll take my Niners blindly up to minus 9.5.
And it looks like most of the public, 70% of the tickets are on this Niners team and 73% on the over here.
Yeah, it's square.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with this game. Truthfully.
Yeah, I don't like,
Darnold's,
we know Darnold.
Yeah, that is true.
Darnold came from us. So I do think he looked great. I just think he won't look that good against our secondary.
Yeah. It's kind of a sell spot on Minnesota almost.
So I like
playing such a bad Giants team.
Just a little. It's going to be square. The books will need the Niners not to cover. I'm not selling this
Yeah.
as like a circa 5 pick.
I'm going to go out on a
I'm
limb
just
here
saying
and
the
say
Niners win.
Niners in the under. I'm going to say that I think Gino's onto something
Not a
here with the whole
baby.
Sam Darnold thing. I think the Vikings score under 14 points this game. Niners win 21-13 final score. That's my prediction.
I love it. 24-10, something like that. We'll have fun
let's
with
move
it.
on to the next one.
27-13.
All right.
All those hit the under.
The Seahawks traveling to New England. Seahawks are a -170 favorite. Spread is +3.5. Over under 37.5. What do you like here?
So I almost gave out Seattle. They were one of my survivors last week. Remember, I have 2, so I still have Seattle in the other one. I was thinking about Seattle here because I want Seattle off my book and off my slate. But honestly, you just don't want a team that feels like the world is against them. And that's what the Patriots are here. That said, guys, if you want to gamble and be against the grain and in a pretty lone spot, Seattle is one of my, if I go gamble mode, which I do sometimes turn it on with Survivor, I'll be on Indy and Seattle as my 2 plays. So this is one that's there. I think Seattle's run game is going to be very problematic for the New England Patriots. Very problematic. And you're going into Foxborough, in September, not in December. So pretty much the same weather as Seattle. Seattle's probably actually colder than Boston in the summer. So I like Seattle to win this game and control it. This 3.5 so low to me. I felt like it should have been 5.5 and people would still have bet Seattle. So I do respect the books here that they're like holding this line at 3.5 because I know Seattle's going to get more action. So I'm going to go with the over here, that the Patriots are able to score a little bit, no different than what the Broncos did, and that Seattle's going to be able to score too. So 40-point game, 23-17.
It's Seattle. Amazing that the Patriots are like the worst team in the league preseason. They're not going to win more than 2 or 3 games. And now they win week 1, upset the Bengals. All of a sudden, they're only a 3-point dog at home against the Seahawks. I'm going Seattle, bro. I think I'm selling the Patriots here after pulling off a miraculous upset against the Bengals, in which we see the Bengals do every year. They lose early in the season. So I'm not going to put too much stock into that. It was also a new look Patriots team as far as coaching. So I think now there's some tape and some understanding of what they're going to do. So I'm going to go Seattle to cover the spread here, and I'm going to stay far away from that total. Let's move on.
I like it, brother. I like it a lot.
The Jets versus the Titans. Jets a -160 favorite, -3.5 on the spread, over under 41.5. Will the Jets bounce back here? What do you think?
Oh, man. This might be the toughest game. So the Jets now are on a short week. They look kind of demoralized. They looked like they lost the playoff game. It was the freaking first game of the season. You had to go across the country to the Niners. Like, take your Super Bowl system and shove it up your ass. The Jets should have lost this game. I don't know. Didn't Juice take like a couple plays off because he was just like mad? Yeah. Like he was like pouting on the sideline. If you look that up, it's kind of weird. He wasn't injured, so he's mad about something. They got another defensive guy that's like holding out. He's like skipping weeks, like 800,000 a week or some shit. These people are fucking nuts. And then you have the Titans, who should have done more against Chicago, should have won. So I'm going to buy the Jets here a little bit. I'm going to buy their defense here. I'm going to buy the under in this game. I think this game could be what I thought the Niners could have been. 16-13, something like that. 13-10. I don't love the 3.5. I think points are going to be very, very frugal in this game. I think both these guys tighten up and try and not lose the game. I think Levis is going to be happy feet and afraid to make bad plays against that secondary too and juicing them. So really like the under in this game. I think this game should tip off around 39.5 or something like that. So take those 2 free points. I'll lean the Jets, but I don't want to get hooked. So I'll give out the money line. Jets -160.
Bro, what did the Titans Tony Pollard last week, right? He could have a big game in this spot based on what we saw out of the Jets run D, but I think the Jets run D also has the capability of bouncing back here. it's just hard it's hard to like predict because on one side of the coin it's like, oh, it was the Niners O line, but they also didn't even have McCaffrey, and they still were able to run all over them. So part of you wonder is like, can Tony Pollard and the Titans do that? But I think the Jets are going to be more willing to sell out for the run there, whereas you can't completely sell out for the run against the Niners. They're just going to go over the top with all their weapons. Whereas can the Titans really do that? So I think my gut tells me the Jets are going to bounce back defensively, stuff the run. I think Pollard goes under 50 yards on the ground, whereas he had like, what do you have, 85 last week, 82 last week. I think that the Jets will be able to shut him down a little bit more and cause some chaos for Will Levis. So I'm Jets here on a bounce back spot. I think they win by 10 points or more here.
I like it, brother. Let's do it. We're aligning on a good amount of games. This is dangerous for the public.
We got the Giants and Commanders. Division game here. Giants plus 108 underdog. Spread 1.5 and the over-under 44.5. What do you like here?
So this was the commies were arguably one of the most cute underdog sharps that I stayed away from hard. I didn't bet Tampa Bay, so I don't get any credit there. I just stayed away from this game. Jaden looks good though. This quarterback looks good. I don't know why the spread is so low. I think Washington looked better week one than the Giants in every aspect, and then Washington gets to go home, and the Giants go on the road. So I think Jaden gets his first win. The 1.5 doesn't even make me blink. Both these teams are by low spots, so I'll take it. I think the Giants play better. You can't play much worse than they did. So not too high on this over or under, but we'll leave it at the commies minus 1.5. But then, guys, when you see that money line at 108, just take it. It's probably minus 130 with the books.
Yeah,
so
I hate this fucking divisional matchup here. I never know what to do when the Giants and Commanders play each other. You just never really know. You never really know what's going to happen. I mean, who played better? I mean, Daniel Jones had 2 INTs last week. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get from him, bro. How did Jaden Daniels do? He had what? He had 17 of 24, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions. Not bad. He did have 16 carries on the ground for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pretty crazy. I'm going commies, bro. I'm going commies here at home. It's just not.
Let's do it.
There's nothing. You might be on to something with the Giants being the worst team in the league, bro. This could be a gift. You at least look at the Commanders. I feel like you at least has some sort of like positive momentum from week one. I understand they lost by 17, but your quarterback ran for 2 touchdowns. You did some things offensively.
Yeah.
The Giants, on the other hand, 28-6 at home. I don't know, bro. I think you have to go Commanders, but it feels a little bit of a trap. So I'm not in love with much of anything in this game. Let's move on to the next one. All right, this is a good one. Rams versus Cardinals. Rams plus 1.5. About to pick them on the money line. Over under 49.5. What do you think here, bro? It's a good game.
I pride myself off knowing this NFC West really well. The Cardinals had a little pep in their step. They should have won in Buffalo, or they competed end-to-end. They feel like they should have won, I should say. Come back by Buffalo. I don't know how these Rams are with only one
Puka gonna be back?
Receiver. Their whole.
Oh, is he? Okay.
No, he's out 4 weeks. 4 weeks, yeah. The thing about the Rams, guys, if you're a data guy, correct me if I'm off by a couple points. The Rams run in motion more than any team in the NFL by far. It's over 50% of the plays. They send someone in motion to see if they're in man or zone, and then the quarterback calls the play at the line based on that. So very Peyton Manning-like, but with more motion. The reason they do this is they have 2 elite WR1s that they feel like cannot be guarded in man. So this changes everything for them, So we see them competing with a top team in the NFC like Detroit, but then they lose their receiver. So I think you're getting the Cardinals pretty cheap here at 1.5. So I think the public will be all over the Rams money line. I'm going to go Cardinals.
I'm Cardinals all day. You saw me
102.
back their money line and points in week 1. They looked really good early, but then they just got Josh Allen, bro, and it happens. So I like Kyler Murray at home here, bro. I think he can do a lot at home against the Rams in this spot. So I'm gonna trust that the Cardinals pull this game off by a field goal, maybe a last minute field goal, walk off field goal to win the game is my prediction. And you're right though, 69% of the tickets are on the Rams here. 65% of the tickets are on the over as well. I could see Cardinals in the under all day here as a classic fade the public spot. Moving on.
I like it.
All right, we got the Steelers going to Denver. Steelers -140 road favorite, minus 3 on the spread as well, and over under 36.5. What do you like?
God,
it does feel
favorites,
like it feels like there's a lot of favorites
guys.
this week.
And I hate that. So guys, just know when I lean each game, I'm giving you my honest gut knee-jerk reaction, but then what our card is very different. Dude, I leave Pittsburgh here again. My favorite bet, I think, would be the Denver team total under. Pittsburgh getting a rookie quarterback to absolutely eat, go up 2-0 record on the road. Pittsburgh was plus 800 to win that division. It's just crazy odds. Now, Baltimore has the fucking clear leg up, so don't think I'm saying. But if you're a Pittsburgh fan, you got to feel great about going into Atlanta and picking up that win. And now being favorite, about to be up 2-0 on the road before you go home. So, it's God. The under will be all over the public. Everyone's going to think these two teams hold each other to nothing. I'll go over here on the game and Pitt -140. I would also give up the 3. I think Pitt can win by double digits. I was impressed with what they did.
So I'm completely opposite on this one. I consider making Denver my dog of the week. Who did I make it again just earlier? It was like 4 or 5 games ago.
Okay.
It was Cleveland, yeah. I'm debated.
Cleveland?
I'm going back and forth between Cleveland and Denver. The reason I like Denver, right? Like Bo Nix, rookie quarterback on the road in Seattle. That's a hard place to make your rookie debut. Now you're coming back home to Denver. I know you're playing a good defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you look at he threw 26 of 42 last game, 62% completion. He ran the ball 5 carries for 35 yards. He got sacked a couple times. He threw 2 picks, but I feel like he got all of that out of him now. And now he's at home. And are we really sold on the Steelers here? I can't get there on them. I feel like, the 18-10, win against the Falcons. It's definitely a good win, but at the same time, Kirk Cousins threw those interceptions, and I don't know, bro. I don't want to put too much stock into it. I feel like that we do agreeing a lot. Yeah,
we were agreeing too much.
I feel like
feels like
everyone's gonna be on Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh.
It's a great buy low. Remember, I mentioned Maddie. We didn't. Yeah. This is Maddie's buying low and selling high.
60% of the tickets on Pittsburgh
one on the road.
So far. I think we're gonna be able to get Denver at 3.5, 4 maybe as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Unless the Sharps hold it down.
Yeah,
Denver feels sharp.
This is kind of like that.
This is when we got to be disciplined. I will have to skip some of the favorites I said because there's too many. There's no way they eat.
Well, to be fair, it was the second half of the season, but last year they went on a fucking tear, bro. Remember the 0-16 week on the dog and unders? That was the second half of the season, but there are weeks where the favorites legit win almost every game. Yeah,
just
so
tear it up.
We're opposite on this one. I think this is the first game we're completely opposite on. But yeah, I'm going Broncos money line.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm hoping
you like Denver under. I like Pitt over
as well. So let's move on to the next game. All right,
let's do it, gang. Oh, can you believe they opened this up at 5?
Is that Burrow? That doesn't look like Burrow.
It's like 6.5 or something.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't look like him. Who is that?
You guys watching the show, you can't see
maybe?
what we're seeing anyways, but it doesn't look like that's Joe Burrow on the screen. Maybe it is, but All right, we got the Bengals going to the Kansas
but it
City.
doesn't look like
Bengals plus 240 underdog, plus 5.5 on the spread, over under 48.5. I'll tell you one thing, bro. This is a typical Bengals cover here all day long. All day long. Look like absolute shit in week one. Lose outright as a 9-point favorite. They always play the Kansas City Chiefs very hard, though. So, what do you think here?
This is a Bengals money line, dude. This is where the public. This blows up the entire parlay.
Yeah.
Every asshole in the whole world. There's no reason you have any reason to believe Kansas City won't win by fucking 20.
And the Chiefs gave up a lot on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they gave Lamar every opportunity to come back and win that game. And Joe Burrow is arguably better in those scenarios. Like Lamar is more versatile, and you can argue who's the better quarterback overall. But when it comes to comeback time, Joe Burrow can do what Lamar should have done that last game.
No, I know. Is Jamar playing? Is he going to play all the games? He's still throwing a temper tantrum that he wants his extra penny. Who knows? Again, this is the disciplined degen in me. I know the tickets. Everything's going to stick. I'll probably be able to get 7. If I can't, I'll take my 6.5. It's already 6.5 right now. And I'll go over here too. The KC offense was electric. I think Kansas City loosens up and says, we're not going to lose another game like that. Let's air it out. So I'm going dog, and I'm going over and dog, but mostly the dog.
Last year, if you look at the Bengals, they came out week one, they scored 3 points, and they lost 24-3. You look at how they bounced back in week 2, they still lost the game, but they lost 27-24 to the Ravens. So they do bounce back offensively. Let's go back 2 years ago. Or hold on. No, I might be wrong on that. No, I was right. Okay. On 2022, week 1, they lost 23-20, and then week 2, they lose 20-17. So 2 years in a row, they've lost both week 1 and 2, and arguably week 3 here. I like Chiefs money line, but I don't know that they cover. I think this is going to be like a 27-24 game where Patty just does it again, wins late in the game but they don't cover. That's my prediction. 27-24 Chiefs. I might take the Bengals here on the points because everyone's going to be so uncomfortable taking that.
I completely see it, dude. We're riding Bengals for the most uncomfortable bet of the week. It makes no sense, but the bookies know what they're doing.
Let's go to Sunday Night Football here. We got the Bears traveling to Houston. The Bears are a plus 250 dog, 6 points on the spread. It might be as high as 7 now on some sites, and over under 46.5. What do you like here?
Really like my Texans in a survivor, right? Just a sleep-free survivor. That the Bears defense is the Bears defense that good, or did freaking Levis just bend over and cry? I'm torn. So I'm really torn here. I have Houston on such a higher plateau as a team than Tennessee, and Tennessee could have easily covered 6 in Chicago. But now you got Caleb, who's more comfortable on turf. That's how he played in. Is that Chicago field, Soldier Field, just hard and not for him, and he has to adjust? It's so hard to say. I'm
going to tell you right now, I love this under so much. It might be my favorite under. I mean, even last week, the Bears scored 24. They needed a blocked punt. They needed multiple interceptions. I don't think they're going to be able to score much on the road here at all. And I think that they can do enough defensively to at least hold Houston to 24, right? I could see a 24-10, 24-13 type of game where it goes way under. And I think that total's moved down to 45.5, if I'm not mistaken, too. Yeah.
Okay. So you're on the right side then. Yeah, I'll give you that one. I'll ride under with you. I just, yeah, I think Houston needs to tighten up on defense, what they let in.
But we were kind of high on the Colts there, though.
That's all.
Just in general. So
we were.
All right, let's move on to the last game of the week, Monday Night Football.
Covered for us.
The Birds, both Birds here. We got the Falcons at Philadelphia. Falcons plus 275 dog on Bet Openly. If you guys want me to give you plus 275, send me a link on Twitter. I will take any amount of money on my Birds here. The spread is 6.5. The over-under is 47.5. Now down to 47, I believe. What do you think here, bro? It's a good game.
Yeah, I like Atlanta getting the 6.5. Yeah. I like the points. I think Philly's the better team. I really think Philly's the better team. I think Philly's going to be able to score on Atlanta. I think Philly is going to be able to hold them in the secondary. Their passing game very limited, but I think Bijan's going to be able to eat. Yeah. Robinson will be able to eat a little bit. So I think this is going to be a freaking great game. I give Philly the clear edge. The spread and everything feels true to me, but I'm going to take the 6.5. I'm going to go off that high-low again that I talked about. That Philly covered, Atlanta lost at home. Now they're going on the road, potentially 0-2 when they were gifted the NFC South. So give me those 6.5.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. This game really does scare me, but I was scared last week. I feel like when I don't bet on the Eagles, they always cover, just every time. Like if I would have bet on them last week, they would have won by 2 instead of kicking that last second field goal. Like it's just crazy. But why is the spread 6.5? Like Falcons scored 10 points last week at home against the Steelers. Like, come on. It's just crazy. But again, we don't overreact to week 1. Think about how high we were on Atlanta before week 1. We were very high. We're picking them to win the division.
Exactly.
Their roster looks good. Kirk Cousins, Bijan. I mean, they have a lot of weapons. And what did you think of my Eagles defense in week 1? Because I wasn't thoroughly impressed.
I think the Packers were ready. I wouldn't look down on your Eagles output. That Packers was
It's more about the run game to me,
offense.
We gave up 163 on the ground. That's more than we got on the ground. We only got 144.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, I think Robinson's going to eat in this game. So, I just think you have too much power for them. I think you eat back. I think you beat them in the secondary. I think it's a close game, but I'm giving you guys a 3 to 4 point win.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if I had to, with all the star power and all the names, I would buy this under a bit.
The
23-20 kind of game.
A bit on both sides, honestly.
24-20 kind of game.
You can't get away from Saquon after last week. You got to keep feeding the beast. He had 24 carries last week. Jalen had 13 carries. Yeah.
I mean, you guys got so much fire. Come on, man. AJ Brown could break one in a hook. Little 5-yard slant.
That's what he did last week on my 52K.
So you guys got a lot of talent.
As soon as he broke one, I was like, I already know my boy scoring. What's his name? Christian Watson. I was like, I know he's scoring, bro. I knew it was coming. I never in my life.
Oh, dude.
I
wish I was in the studio with you
without a sweat. Like that was. You gotta understand that was early in the third quarter where I didn't even care about the rest of the game.
I know and the back and forth was so consistent that you just knew. I know, and you're sick too. I know you wanted Watson for 2 touchdowns. I know you wanted Saquon for 3.
My boy, bro.
You're sick.
All right. Well, I think we're aligned there. It's hard to swallow the 6.5. I think Bijan and the Falcons could run the ball a little bit here, run some clock. I think we're kind of Falcons in the under or Eagles money line. But I'm undecided a little bit, though, at the same time.
Yeah, my favorite's 6.5, but I'm buying this under a little bit. I think your boys win, though. I think we're the 2-0 Niners and the 2-0 Eagles.
All right. Any last thoughts, brother?
I believe it. No, man, just a great week of football. It's crazy what a good product the NFL puts out.
Very entertaining week 1 for sure.
Thanks for all your support, week 1. All the homies out there. It was electric. Dude, we didn't even talk about this. Like 75% of the games could have gone either way.
Yeah,
like
there was some blowouts, but most
quarter.
of the games were very competitive. It was really just the Panthers, Saints, and the Vikings, Giants, right? Everything else was competitive. Yeah. So only 2 games were blowouts out of all 17 games. So, all right, boys, like and subscribe on the channels. Go sign up for betopenly.com. Make an account. Tweet me at MattyBets, at Gino.betopenly. He'll fill the 49ers bets. I'll fill the Eagles bets. We'll see you guys next week for NFL Week 3.